time and desire to do so. So, welcome back to the Chase and Jay Show, episode, what are we, 5?
Episode 5.
Episode 5. We got a little late start and guest to be here directly, shortly, momentarily. No rush. Whew, what else we got to talk about then?
Sorry, I was making sure it was showing up. I never trust that it's actually on YouTube.
Right.
Background thing.
Right. I mean, hey man, after the other day with Patrick and sitting there for did I tell you that story
about how you or he did that whole show and like recorded or thought he was recording everything, or it was all live and none of it was there, right?
Yeah. It was. We just did a show for 3 people for an hour and 45 minutes because it wasn't recording and it wasn't broadcasting. And like, oh man.
Yeah, right. Lone Cowboy there. Yeah, we can't do our evening chat on Thursdays because we got the live going on. You'll just have to chat with us here.
Yeah, Ken, he's mine on Thursday nights, bro.
At least I feel loved, You got it submitted. Cool. Yeah, Grandma Badger never texted me back, and I didn't hear from Angie. So I don't know what they're doing in Michigan right now, but I was like, well, I guess it's more important than me. So that's all I got.
Addicted to Mugen, good afternoon or evening, wherever you're at. We're on that borderline, depending on where you're watching from. How's everybody else in the comments?
Oh, we got some Wagonators.
What's up, guys?
I'm seeing some dog pictures from them. Everybody's all about that dog life.
Dog life. Oh, that's my nephew. What up, nephew?
Jay's like, hey, person I don't know.
Right? Hey, man, I try to make friends everywhere I go. Evening, Patty. Patty. So did you hear about the new terms of service for YouTube about the AI slop?
I did not.
Okay, so apparently guys are taking other people's stuff or just reusing old footage, putting it into AI, having AI build them a video, and then saying, hey, I need a script to talk about toasters. And it needs to be about 6 minutes long or whatever. And then, of course, AI just puts it out, a script, then you copy, paste, put it in the other AI, and then add a voice to it, and then add the voice to the video, and then upload it. And it's just, everybody is just drowning the servers out, basically, according to YouTube. That, and it's, it's low effort content, Now, they did not define what low effort content was, but everybody's kind of on the page that's what they're talking about,
Yeah.
You use AI to build a video, use AI to write a script, and then use AI to make it into English or make it into whatever, and then just re-uploading it in different languages and everything else. So they're about to cut all of that out.
Yeah, I watched a video, a few months ago or something, that was sort of talking about these channels that had started popping up that were like 100% AI, and we're just like scraping Amazon and stuff for products and coming up with just like 100 product reviews every day of just like random stuff that is scraped from Amazon.
Yep.
To get views, these like 3-4 minute long review videos that were just, and they kind of went through a few of them and they were like, I mean, it's like junk, but if they just get like a minute or 2 view out of each of those and they're everywhere, they can get all these views and these view minutes from just spamming these videos out and make a bunch of money and whatever. That was pretty wild. I mean, like I had said beforehand, I've used AI like twice just for random, just having fun, whatever. I haven't really messed with it for work or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a solid hustle if you can get it going, So,
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind a good hustle every now and again, but if you're just overloading the servers, then, and you're not putting in anything, they're really trying to protect, according to what I read and what I heard, was that they're really trying to protect the content creators and leave them space. So Dan finally showed up and make sure he's ready to go. And Ladies and gentlemen, the guest of today, Dan Fresh.
Oh, Jay,
There we go.
up.
Oh, there. Yay!
Crash Jay.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Dan, man? Fresh in from your excursion. Sorry to put the squeeze on you there, boss.
That was my fault. Terrible planning today.
Oh, hey, that's the name of our show. We're going to change it from the Chase and Jay to Terrible Planning. What up, Road Reality?
Throw some earbuds in here so I don't get any echo going on. It's my first day live streaming here.
We're 4 days ahead of you. This is our 5th day live stream.
Yeah. Oh man. So, Mr. Dan. Oh, what happened there? Something. There we go.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Ooh, sounds worse, but yeah.
Hold on.
Is it we're getting an echo from Dan? Is that what it sounds like to me?
Yeah, I don't know if his mic's tuned in just yet.
All right. How's that? Is that better?
That's beautiful, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sounds good. Can you hear us?
Yeah, no. Why can't I hear you guys?
Good deal. Can't hear us.
Oh, you can't hear us? Do we need to do our testing routine or?
Right.
Hold on.
Mic check, mic check. Clean testicles. We're past the 5-minute mark, so we can talk all the smack we want.
Right.
When I switch over to the AirPods, I can't hear you guys.
Well,
Is it not showing it in your? Well, I don't know how. I've never done wireless, so I'm not sure how it works with the.
All right. I'm just going to turn down my audio here to see if it gives any feedback.
okay, that's cool.
All right. I got you guys. All right. Let's roll. I'm here.
No echo. We're good, brother.
All right.
We're not professionals. We don't have a proper setup. We got to use a service. See. So, Mr. Dan, man, what?
Dan is cool. Mine's pretty cool. Jay, we got to up your background game here. You need like a room with like accessories and stuff going on, man.
Look, I've only got so much in my kitchen I can give up for streaming here.
Shannon will understand. I bet. You know, we gotta take over the kitchen.
Hey, my middle son's 18 now, and he's about to graduate early high school in December. So, I'm about to kick him out. I can just take his room. I've been paying for it for 13 years. I ought to be able to use it one of these days. Oh, for anybody that doesn't know, Mr. Dan, what got you into YouTube?
Oh, it's been an evolution. The original reason was I hated my job and I felt too old to kind of like start over again. So I was like, I'll just start a YouTube channel and maybe build myself a bridge to something else. And thought maybe it'd help me get better as like a public speaker. Just kind of used it as like a tool to maybe just get better at a bunch of different skill sets that I didn't have. And it sort of kind of grew into its own thing. And it kind of everything I sort of loosely had planned on it to do, it sort of kind of worked out. So kind of interesting.
It's been
How long
fun
have
to
you
watch.
been doing YouTube?
9 years, 10 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as big as I should be at this point, honestly, with the amount of work and time and effort that's gone into it. But it's fine by me.
Yeah, but you're keeping your channel spread out. You're not just pinpoint. You're not pigeonholing yourself, and that's got to have something to do with it.
Yeah, I pay the price for trying to just not worry about what the algorithm wants.
Yeah. Well, but you don't want to get stuck on just motorcycles or just this or just that, painting cars or sleep number beds. So, I mean, and that's fine if that's really what you're trying to drill down to. But if you're trying to keep your channel fresh and trying to keep it fun for yourself, I mean, even Demo Ranch was like, I'm out of here, after doing guns for so long,
Yeah, but I think Demo Ranch, some of these dudes who bail, I think, I was a big OG Casey Neistat fan. Like he kind of bailed. They don't bail. They just get so independently wealthy that they don't really have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So like, the YouTube channel thing is interesting because a lot of people, when you get like quasi larger, like over like 10,000 subs, you start getting comments from people who are like, oh, you should just be doing this as a hobby. You're trying, like, almost like you're going too big time with it.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's doing it for the purpose of growth. Like, I think everybody's so full of shit when they start trying to say like, I'm just in it because it's super fun. And it's like, dude, you're not fooling me. I know how much work goes into making videos and like planning content and the stress around it. And it's like, I've always compared it to like a landscaper, like a kid that cuts grass, right? He does it for a little bit extra scratch here and there. Like, you hear the motorcycle people say like, oh, I'm doing it for extra gas money and stuff like that. But it's like, eventually there's so much work that goes into it that you have to start getting more out of it. Otherwise, it's like a waste of your time. There's not a single person that's in the YouTube space who without their YouTube channel wouldn't be able to afford the fuel for their Harley Davidson. It's like, how much does it really cost to put gas in the tank? So I don't know. I think there's a lot of like people fool themselves on like what their intent is early on. And then some of these like bigger channels that bail, they sort of use that as, I don't want to say clickbait because it's like legit. Demo Ranch legitimately left.
Yeah.
But he also rang that cash register on the way out, with that I'm retiring video. He could have just stopped posting videos and disappeared forever. So, it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. This whole platform is super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
Nope. I talk too much already.
Looking at your channel, so full disclosure, I had not seen any of your videos before Jay told me that you were coming on. So you were fresh faced to me. Jay watches like 20,000 different subs or subs on YouTube. So it kind of reminds me of Last Line of Defense, and he's talked about it before where he does guns, he does trucks, he does like EDC stuff, he does camping, he does all this different stuff, like dogs, his family, all this stuff. He's like, yeah, I know it hurts me, but like I don't want to make 7 different channels for like specific content areas. So like I'm just gonna do this. And I mean, of course, he's got like 500,000, 600,000 subs. So he's a pretty big deal on that front. But yeah, it is kind of interesting how you do see people make. So even smaller folks make like several, like 3-4 different channels, trying to like divide up your different kind of content. I'm just like, I hate having to use 3 different social media platforms to put my crap on. Like, I don't want to deal with a bunch of different channels and all this stuff.
Yeah, and the problem with that different channel idea is like, now you have 3 algorithms, quote unquote, that you have to like worry about satisfying and feeding. And if one channel goes stagnant too long, then basically you're going to be punished for that. And to me, it just becomes like you're only one person. And a lot of the channels that do multiple channels really, really well, Road Realities, he's got 2 channels, but a lot of these larger, like Demo Ranch, he had multiple channels, but they also have a bunch of people that are kind of helping them in everything that they're doing. So, I've got my separate channel, my As Built Media channel. I started after I got let go from my last job, and I was going to start trying to run both of those channels. But I was like, man, I got to get Gears and Gadgets. Like, that's the bread and butter that I've been building for like years and years and years. If there's anything I'm going to throw all of my effort into, it's the one channel that like I've got in a pretty good. There's a lot of people that would kill to have a channel like at the size that I have, and I know that because I used to be a much smaller channel. And it's like, why would I just try to dilute that out into like multiple channels? And like, it just, I don't know, just didn't seem smart to me. So I'm just focusing all of my effort on trying to like build this one up.
When you started, when you left your job, or job left you, when you decided to go for the video a day until you hit 100K, what was your subs at?
I want to say 72,000 or something like that.
Okay.
So I think I've added, I could look it up, but I think I'm 87 videos in a row, which is a grind and a half. It's honestly, I'm not sure how much longer I can keep it up.
Are you looking at my notes? Because that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm trying to look and see.
I think you were like 81,600 or something like that when I looked earlier. Yeah, I can't imagine making real videos, like actual like edited plan stuff every single day. Like, when Sonny did those 2 years straight of daily vlogs. I mean, a lot of those were just like hanging out in the garage talking for 10 minutes, whatever. And I'm like, good gosh, I can't. The idea of editing videos every single day makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, I've learned an awful lot about it. Like it's hold on, I'm trying to figure out where I was at subscriber wise before this all started.
Road Reality says 69,572.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. I appreciate the moderation there. Yeah, so look, it's one of those things where like people keep asking me like, why are you pushing the 100K? And honestly, it was like a video a day to 100K rhymed. So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna rock with that. And truth be told, like that 100,000 subscriber plaque. Anytime I see like one of these channels like blow up and get that plaque and just sort of like not even care, they kind of like open it, throw it in the corner. Like to me, that is like a huge accomplishment. I've been doing this for so long, and like it means something to me. It's totally a vanity metric. We all know that, but I think for a long time, like when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I remember people like coworkers, my brothers, things like that, being like, how many subs do you think you'd need to be able to do this like full-time legit? And I always threw out like 100K. I was like, I think 100K is where you're probably making like every video you post, you're going to get 5,000 views in the first couple days, like guaranteed. And then those views beget views and all that kind of stuff. So I think I just always viewed that as like the I made it point. And I was so close to it when I got let go from my job that I was like, man, it's time to just go. And can I do a video day? So when I got let go from my job, this was back in like late January. It put me in like a real bad mental health spot. Like it was a really weird scenario. I haven't shared a lot about what actually transpired. Like I shared a bit of it, but there's quite a bit more behind the scenes. It put me in like a really bad mental health space. And I used the channel as like an outlet to just give me something to keep doing, to like keep me positive, mindset. And one day my wife, I was kind of like in a lull of videos. Like I think I went like 2 weeks without doing any videos. And she was like, what kind of videos do you have in your mind? Like, what are you thinking? And I was like, honestly, I got nothing. I was just like in that like total creative block space. And at that moment, like a switch flipped where I was like, just do a video a day on anything.
Yeah.
And like, it challenged me to not have creator's block. Like I just wanted to just say like, each one of you guys, everybody, whether it's you guys or anybody in the comment section, like I don't care what you do. If you could have a paper route, that could be your entire life is a paper route. You have 10 minutes of something a day to talk about. I don't care who you are. And that was kind of like my challenge where I was like, not every video is going to be a banger, but I have 10 minutes of something to talk about every single day. And there's been probably, 20% of the videos that I've posted in the last 80 days where I just last minute was like, oh shit, like I got nothing. Got to come up with something and just kind of like let one rip. And those videos always do the best. The ones that are unplanned where you just record it like off the cuff always do the best. The ones that you take forever to think about and like produce just absolutely fail every time.
It's almost like you're making the muse mad. It was like, whoa, hold on. I didn't want you to put that much effort into it. This idea that popped into your head. Was that an on the fly video yesterday about talking about leaving your old place?
Yeah, it was. That was an on the fly video, but also one that's been like in my head. It's been one that's been weighing on me.
Kind of figured out how you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, that's one of those videos that I spent more time thinking about. And then yesterday just thought, just grab a beer out of the fridge, sit down and let it rip. And don't plan it out. Just like literally, it's taken me a long time to get comfortable enough just to like set a camera in front of me and just start spewing at it. And it's like super therapeutic, honestly. It's like a great way to just get it out,
I do the same thing when I make my videos, but I have to do like 3 or 4 takes because I'm not as articulate as I should be.
That's the beauty of editing. That's one of the things that I love about being a YouTuber the most is being able to yammer at a camera for like 40 minutes. Like a lot of my videos, like I've filmed for 30, 40 minutes of just word vomit. And then like to be able to go back to the edit and like chop it up into what you kind of had thought about before you started, just like diarrhea of the mouth sort of thing. And like, it's amazing to me how much you can kind of just edit together a pretty good narrative out of just long-winded nonsense.
Yeah.
I think doing live stuff helps with that too, just in the sense that you have to gather your thoughts. So you have to get used to gathering your thoughts, because when you can edit it, like, good gosh, the number of times I've been out in the garage doing something and I've repeated myself 7 times, or I forgot like half the thing I wanted to say in the middle, and having to like chop it up and redo it and do whatever. When you're live, like, can't do that. So you just got to get used to kind of like, having that mental note of bullet points, as you go. So I think it helps with the staring at a camera and saying stuff, just sitting here and doing live.
Dude, I had, so that the company that I worked for before all of the wheels fell off of that, they had some social media stuff going on. They were like, hey, you've got a social media presence. Would you do some videos for us? And I was like, hell yeah. But it was like, just let me cook. I know what I'm doing. No, it wasn't a pay me thing. It was like, like, it sounds really cocky, but my YouTube channel was larger than this $50 billion software company's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I know how to talk to regular, normal, real people, and that's what I'm good at. So they're like, yeah, however you want to do it, you can do it. Before you knew it, it turned into like script writing. I had to submit the script, have people review it. Then they edited it for me. Then I was like sitting in the corner of this room with like a printed out script. I couldn't deliver a line to save my life. And it felt like a hostage situation where I'm just like sitting in this room. And I ended up leaving that series because I was like, guys, it feels so inauthentic to me. And I can't, that's not who I am. And it's going to hurt my brand on my actual social media if there's content floating around of it, like me reading, freaking ransom note,
Yeah.
Ransom note.
Yeah,
I think there's a fine line. Like you need to have your thoughts gathered, but then if it becomes just like a marketing spiel kind of, or you know it too well, then I've had to scrap entire videos of mine where I like was trying to make a point and just had too fine a point on it and was like, no, we're just not going to do this today.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a brain fart. I can't remember what I was going to say. Chase, take over.
I kind of want to finish. So Jay and I, right before you hopped on, we're talking about AI and how YouTube has a new policy on like kind of the AI slop videos. And Jay, we had gotten to the point where we were talking about how they're having server issues because these channels are just like cranking out these AI slop videos, repeatedly, whatever, and it's causing issues. Like I say, I've used AI very little, mostly just messing around with getting some images generated for this, that, and the other. But I think that whole thing's kind of coming to a head. I know folks were talking even months, year plus, whatever ago, and AI really started to get good enough to be usable at certain things, like energy use and stuff. Like the amount of energy in the world that is going toward AI generation is like a really big problem. It's kind of like the Bitcoin mining sites that were just like taking down entire towns' power grids because they were cranking out all this power. And so it's really interesting because I see it at work, and I see it obviously on YouTube, on the internet, on any social media, whatever, all the AI stuff. And it's kind of like we're starting to lean on it so hard. I mean, and everybody's trying to do the AI thing, but I'm like, man, I mean, we're going to get to the point where we're having to build like nuclear power plants for AI generation. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah, good luck getting a license for a new nuke plant in the States.
Yeah, right.
So where do you want to where would you like to see, what do you got on the schedule coming up?
What do I have on the schedule?
Yes, sir.
All kinds of nonsense. I actually have a couple truck modifications. I've got some Harley content coming out. I'm so scatterbrained, I honestly don't even know. It's kind of all over the place. But I've had all these people are like, oh, you're going to run out of ideas like this video a day thing. I'm like, honestly, no. I feel like I still have 10 videos. Like every day I make a video, I got like kind of more comes up. So I think tomorrow I'll be doing a video on my truck. I would like to get out and ride a little bit more, but it's today was 114 degrees, and it's really difficult.
Are you Arizona based?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to ride through hell to get up to like Flagstaff, where it actually cool off a little bit, and then ride home in the dark.
Yeah, the problem is like riding up to go and like ride somewhere cooler is great, but the ride back is like then you're kind of like shot from the ride you took all day and riding back into the heat,
Right.
and it's just like, man, by the time you get home, like my head's throbbing and it's just like I feel like absolute crap.
Yeah, and it's so dry, the sweat just comes off of you, so you don't even notice it that much.
Yeah, it's pretty scary actually. The fact that you don't sweat at all, it can catch up on it. And like basically for me, I just feel that headache coming on, and by the time the headache comes on, it's already too late. Doesn't matter how much you stop and drink. It does. It's like it sucks. So.
Yeah, you're way behind the curve at that point.
But I think
Go ahead.
What's your main bike right now?
I have a 2018 Harley Davidson Heritage
Okay, I saw the Heritage.
114. Yeah, love that bike. Absolutely love that bike.
Yeah, like I say, me being not very well versed in your stuff, I saw several bikes, kind of when I was looking through the various videos, and so I wasn't sure what you were like actually, was your daily.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good relationship with the people over at Indian Motorcycles. They send me out bikes quite a bit, and I love making Indian motorcycle videos because I love the fact that like Harley Davidson people just get super pressed about the fact that Indian even exists. I find it fun. It's like a little bit of honest trolling where I love everything that Indian is doing, and I love that people hate when I say that, especially as somebody who owns a Harley Davidson. So it kind of has like this sweet spot of like a rabble rouser of just content that's fun to make because I know it's going to kind of piss some people off. But I've just got rid of the Razor that I had in the garage for a few months that Polaris had out for me. So pretty lucky to have these kinds of connections. And I also, every time I talk about this, I have to throw a little bit of love to Brandon Picasso because he's the reason why I have any of the connections I have at Indian Motorcycles, which is like a pretty interesting story itself.
Brandon seems like a stand-up dude. I've watched a little bit of his stuff. I've subscribed to him on my backup channel and kind of float over there and do some stuff. He puts out some decent stuff. I've met a bunch of people doing this YouTube thing. He is one of the people that I've met who is like legitimately exactly who he is in the videos, like super down to earth. Really, really cool dude. So there was an event, probably 4 or 5 years ago now, that he was invited to with his Indian contacts, and he couldn't make it. It was like a last minute kind of thing. And he was like, hey, give Dan a shot. And they hadn't heard of me. So next thing you know, they called me. I'm out on an Indian press ride and met all those people. And like once you meet those people once, and you're as long as you're not a dipshit, you're in pretty good company. So
taking notes here. Don't be a dipshit.
Dude, you go on some of these press rides, and there's some like I won't mention names by no means, but there's some like really entitled brats that kind of like show up to some of these things where it's like, I don't know, man. It's really wild to me, like some of the sense of entitlement that some of these people have that show up. And usually it's like kind of larger, like press people who have been around for like a super long time that like, I don't know. I'm just lucky to be here. I'm happy to be here and just kind of chill. So
I'm still thankful to just be here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been my That's been my favorite thing about the whole YouTube experience from me. Is the people I get to meet. Like I'd have never met Chase if it wasn't for YouTube. I'd have never met Mike with Riding in the Ozarks. I'd have never met any of the Missouri crew that I hang out with twice a year. You wouldn't be here talking to me now from Phoenix, had it not been for YouTube and my lackluster, half-hearted involvement in it. But that's been my favorite thing about this whole journey. I say whole journey. My journey is nothing compared to the journey that you've been on, Dan. But it's been my favorite part. Period.
When people say stuff like that, it's all the same journey. Like that's the one thing that when I bought my Harley, I went out to the Bring It Home rally with Adam Sandoval, the Harley Davidson world record attempt, whatever. And I remember meeting John Maxwell, which nobody knows who John is anymore because he hasn't posted a video in like 10 years. But, meeting a channel, I think he had like 200,000 subs at that time. And like, for me, I was like, man, this guy's like YouTube God. And then you show up and you're just like, oh, it's just another dude. And like, that's the one thing that all these creators, I don't care, like your size channel to most of the channels that are larger, there's some douchebags out there, but like for the most part, the overwhelming majority of creators are all very, very good people. It's like a kindred spirits sort of thing,
Yeah. Yeah, that because my dad and I rode down for that Adam Sandoval thing, and that's actually how I found your content. Was I was looking for videos after the fact, and then I was like, oh shit, Dan's freaking cool. I like this, and riding through the rain and having to hide from it on your way over here, and then you went back for one of the Cave River campouts too, didn't you? Like the next year? No, I was going to, and then I forgot what happened. Something happened. I wasn't able to make it. Okay. Well, that's where I met Mike from riding in the Ozarks. Is we just happened to bump into one another and had breakfast, and then I had like 4 or 5 videos up, and he's been like a mentor to me. I mean, helping me. He'll text me and be like, "Hey man, you messed up on this video, or you forgot to put in the description, or and oh my bad. Oh, bye Dan."
Yeah, right. Or you kicked our guests off the stream, Jay. What?
Yeah.
No, it is kind of funny that Mike is like the YouTube instigator of the Ozarks.
Yeah. Mike's the instigator, the instigating in the Ozarks.
Can you hear me? Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool like YouTube crews that kind of come up through a lot of stuff. There hasn't really been a huge like Arizona, similar to kind of like what you guys are talking about, like some of the Midwest groups that kind of popped up back in the 2018, like the Biking Bird and like all those guys down in the Texas area, which that all sort of seems to have disbanded and kind of disappeared. But some of the Florida crew stuff, like it's really cool to see a lot of that. And I've had the pleasure to meet a lot of these people. Of course, I've been with Matt Laidlaw a couple times. Had some opportunities to kind of chat with him a bit, and it's just, I don't know. It's pretty cool. John's Moto Garage is around here, but he hasn't posted videos in kind of quite a while. But got to meet him. He was a pretty cool dude too. So.
Yeah, I found John's Moto Garage about the same time I found your channel, and he was still doing the buy, sell, swap bikes, horse trading, and he was on a pretty good,
Yeah, he was on a rip.
I guess his 9 to 5 got a little more difficult to keep doing content, and then COVID hit, and it kind of petered out after that. He seemed like a pretty dope dude, though.
Yeah, he's again another dude that you meet him in person, exact same dude as he is on camera, which is pretty awesome, pretty legit dude. But I've talked to John's Moto Garage is kind of a good example. I've talked to some of these channels. This is another place that I'm a little bit lucky. My CPM is like pretty high compared to other like motorcycle channels, and I think a lot of it has to do with that stupid Sleep Number bed, which I'm not joking. Like. That video, which is 10 years old and was like the worst video I've ever filmed in my entire life, just popped off.
Yeah.
I think I shared it in a recent video. I've made like $23,000 off my Sleep Number bed over the last 10 years over literally just a stupid time lapse of like so dumb. But mattress companies are just absolute whores, and like they spend so much money on advertising that like that video, when it started popping off, a bunch of other mattress companies started like placing ads against it, and next thing you know, like Gears and Gadgets became like this hotbed for beds, and I think it just drove my CPM up for years.
Chase,
so
take a note.
Yeah, like Cerda's like sending out, private investigators, see if they get dirt on Dan here,
It made no sense, but it does. It makes sense to me now, actually, as I've been doing this long enough to go like, oh, I get it. Like they're bidding against those views, and it makes all the sense in the world. But I think that sort of like artificially inflated my CPM on other videos, where for me right now, like I'm nowhere near replacing my full-time income, but I'm also not like starving either. Like I'm able to make enough money on this to like contribute to some bills around the house. And, luckily my wife has a good job where she has health benefits covered and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm a little bit lucky in that sense.
Yeah, you talking about it earlier, it seems like 100, 150,000 subscribers. And of course, as I understand, I'm not like a YouTube guru or anything, that really it's more about like views and view hours and, kind of that sort of thing nowadays than just straight up sub count. But yeah, that's when you see people start to be like, I think I'm gonna quit my day job now, and like, do the full-time YouTube thing, which sometimes goes well, sometimes doesn't go so well, depending on the person on the channel and everything. But yeah, so I know Mike, writing in the Ozarks, Mike has talked to me a couple of times about kind of the money involved in certain view counts and certain stuff, and it's really interesting. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that I don't want to think about too hard. Like I try not to look at my analytics just because I'm like, I'm not anywhere close to that mattering. So I'm like, I don't want to know yet, kind of, as you said, I'm making videos for fun and it's cool if my friends watch them,
Yeah. You don't want to get wrapped around the axle early on analytics. Cause like there's so many, I think it was Doodle on a Motorcycle. I actually met her the same time that I met Brandon Picasso at an event. And she was like, oh yeah, there's like this book you got to read. They teach you all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, the moment I need to start reading books about like how to be a YouTuber, like, and I'm not crapping on people who like go that route. It's fine. But my motivation was different than that. Like it takes, I don't know, 300-400 videos before you like actually get even like remotely good at making a video. Like it takes so long to produce decent content. Like just keep throwing videos at the wall and see what sticks and like constantly improve on what you're doing. You should take a look at analytics a little bit, but yeah, I don't, like the Scott's Moto Adventure, she has the simp army to help her. Doodle actually produces really, really, really good content. Like you can tell she puts a boatload of time into scripts and ideas and execution and video. Like she's not messing around. But she's also doing a lot of textbook stuff. And to me, I'm like, dude, I worked 20 years in a career of like doing all of the textbook nonsense. And I'm like, dude, YouTube should be fun. And the moment you need to start treating it like a whole nother career, like, I don't know, it should just be Demo Ranch. He wasn't amazing because he was doing all of the right things. He was amazing because he was being himself. Like that's what resonated. Casey Neistat was basically doing like a 10 trillion time better version of what I'm doing with that daily vlog series he did for like, I don't know how long it was, for a ton of days. But you don't have a lot of time to like plan it out. You just be yourself and like let the views be what they are,
Dan, do you follow the Badgers?
I do.
Okay. Well, you remember when they were doing daily videos or had started out, he's like, just turn the camera on and the universe kind of provides. He had talked about it in one video. He's like, man, I wasn't really sure what I was gonna video about, and then something happened, and it's like, okay, cool, there we go. There's my, in the universe. He's like, once you get into it, the repetition just hits, and it's just like the next day and the next day and the next day, and before you know, it's been a year. And he lost some weight that year.
Yeah, it's just probably not eating when you're thinking about doing a video a day. That's actually been a problem for me. But the thing with me, like a lot of the videos that I'm doing, I'm probably doing more ambitious than I should be for a video a day. Like some of the videos that I'm doing, like multiple camera angles and splicing in audio and like trying to put together the best video that I can for the day that I'm doing it. Not every one, like I said, it might be 2 to 3 videos a week are the kind of production that most people are doing that video over the duration of an entire week. I'm doing it in a day, like literally out in the garage, filming multiple cameras and then editing it and getting it out, unfortunately, by sometimes like 10 o'clock my time. At that point, I've already lost the East Coast, which sucks. But it's like it's a grind. I wish I could just go in the garage. That video I did yesterday, I wish I could just do that every single day. Just go in there, sit down, say what I got to say, come in, splice it up, out the door, and move on. Like that would be fantastic.
How much time do you usually spend on those videos, like your dailies?
All day.
All day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll back up. I take my daughter to summer camp in the morning. Then I come home, I walk the dog. Usually I'll sit down and like use that time to like respond to emails or like do any of the business growth side of YouTube. Eat breakfast. By noon, I'm like showered up, ready to go in the garage or wherever I'm going to film. I'll film from noon till 3, 4 o'clock, somewhere in that range. That's usually when my wife and daughter are coming home from their day. And then I try not to be a complete shithead and like spend time with them for a few minutes. And then I right back in the studio. That's when I start my edit around like 5. And then if it's an easy enough edit, I can get that edit done. The easiest edit I can do is probably 2.5 hours. Some of these other videos, it's like in here at 5 and it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm running out of time. Like, what am I going to do? And that's where you just kind of like stop working on perfection and just working on get it out the door. So for me, this full-time YouTube thing has been way more work than I've ever done, with the exception of having that couple hours in the morning to like just kind of like ease into your day, as opposed to like having to get up, smash the alarm clock, jump in the shower, get out the door kind of thing, which I did that for many years too. But that's the nice part, is being able to kind of start the day, kind of ease into it.
My favorite time to edit is like 5 in the morning. Like if I get up on Sunday morning where the house is quiet and I can make a cup of coffee, let the dogs out, put my earbuds in and just sit down and focus where there's no outside. Of course, I don't have an office or anything, so that probably helps. And my brain's fresh. I'm not worried about, what went on that day, because nothing's gone on that day so far. I got up. That's all I've done today. Now I can focus on editing. And I've only done one multicam video, and I didn't hate it, but I haven't done another one since. So there's that.
Yeah, I got bit by the multicam bug quite a while ago, and I'm like, I like having it because it's a great way to cover up splices. You cut between 2 different angles, and like it just comes off like super seamless. But obviously, you can do that with the pan in, pan out between the 2 different shots. Kind of helps bury that too. But
yeah,
how long does it take you on an average to like do a video edit?
It depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing a part install or something, and say I've got an hour worth of video, sit down at 5. I try to be done by noon. But again, my thoughts are all over the place. I don't really have a script. I'm just all shooting from the hip, or I've got to go back outside. I forgot this part and I've got to refilm it. So I've got to make sure I got the right shirt and everything from the day before, so it doesn't look out of place. And I've cut it back a lot by not doing a whole lot of music, and using the pan in, pan out, the Ken Burns. I've tuned it down. So for an 8 to 10 minute video, if it's an hour's worth of editing, by 10 or so, about 5 hours. But I'm not just grinding it for 5 hours. I'll sit down for like an hour, maybe some change, and I'll get up and I'll eat me a bowl of cereal, or I'll cook some eggs or something, and then I'll sit back down, get back into it. But yeah, usually probably a solid 5.5 hours now. Chase, what about yourself?
Dan, I don't know if I've ever spent 5 hours editing a video. I need to up my game.
No, you might be doing it right.
I will say, you're talking about like install videos. I find to be install kind of maintenance video sort of stuff. Like I find to be the easiest in terms of editing, because you know exactly what you need to make the video into before you even start. Like your first step, your second step, your third step, your fourth step, and you're just going to chop it up into those parts. But when it comes to like events or, we're out for a weekend doing like a bike rally or something, and I'm just kind of like filming stuff, there's like that random B-roll that's going to get tossed in here, tossed there, and you have random conversations. You don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. And that's the stuff where I just have to watch that video, each of those clips of videos 20 times to figure out like which parts of it I actually want to include and what makes sense and what flows. And those take forever. And then if, we've got Windroad in here, we've got Road Reality, watching their workshop stuff on the Sport Bikers content creator side of things, you get kind of ideas like with the multicam. I didn't really do multicam until on rides and stuff before I had the 360 up on the bars, and then I have my like face cam and trying to like do those interestingly back and forth and together at the same time, So it can be more or less difficult. Like I think you can edit a video, or at least I can edit a video pretty quickly if I know what I'm doing beforehand. But if it's just a bunch of footage from a weekend, that gets really tricky and takes a lot of time for me.
That's interesting. because like a lot of the install videos and stuff that I do, I stopped trying to step 1, step 2, step 3. Like I literally just let the camera roll the entire time that I'm doing it. But it's a nightmare because then I have like tons of footage to go through, and I'm trying to like scrub through to get to like the one spot. I started finding that it was almost easier to like just let the camera roll and then come back and talk about what I did in the garage later, and then just used all of the install video as like B-roll over top of kind of the what happened or whatever. Because like some of the install videos that I'm doing, I'm trying to like let it still feel organic, where it's like there's going to be weird little things that I screwed up along the way, and like I don't want to lose that, but I also don't know what that's going to be either. You got to kind of let the stuff happen. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to skin that cat.
But yeah, you're right. There are those little jokes that you say, those little bits of humanity in during the install that can get lost if you try and like, do the video and the audio separately. So it just depends. But yeah, now I enjoy doing install videos because it's a little bit. I mean, like I say, you kind of know I'm doing an oil change. I'm doing like a rear drive, fluid change. I'm doing brakes. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You kind of know what you're, where you're starting, where you're ending on those kind of videos.
Yeah. Nope, never mind. I lost it again. Sorry.
Jay, what are we?
I'm sorry.
Jay, that's what we're gonna have to start doing. He's gonna have to write scripts.
Put up an AI script for me.
Yeah, we'll get you a teleprompter up there.
Yeah. Well,
so
for me,
there's a question.
Go ahead. Oh, for me, I try the E&E method, right? So I'm either trying to educate or I'm trying to entertain. Like the 2 motorcycle math videos I done, it was more for entertainment. Now there's a little, the math works and it's true. But, I'm just, if I get 1 or 2 people in the comments that say, 1 for sure, but more the merrier. If I get 1 or 2 people to say, dude, I laughed at that joke, or this was fun, or that was funny, that's the video that I like doing. I like doing the install because I like working on my bike and tinkering. But if I can make somebody laugh along the way, that's where I'm like, okay, cool, I did my job, and then I'm done thinking about that video forever. So
I took it back one step further. If I can make myself laugh at my jokes, I'm happy. Like that's all it really requires.
I giggle at myself every time I sit on the toilet. I ain't worried about it.
I was going to ask, Chase, you said you don't use AI at all. Jay, do you use like ChatGPT or anything for any of your stuff?
Not really for the channel. More for answering questions because it's faster than looking it up myself. But as far as editing or no, I'm raw dogging it out here.
I mean, I will say I think there's some AI features within like editing software that I use, for like voice removal or background removal, whatever. But I don't use prompts or anything like that.
Well, that is something where like ChatGPT for me has become like a really terrible writer, where like I've used, first of all, every single video I do, the description ChatGPT 100%, because nobody's reading the description of any video that's ever put out in the history of any YouTube video. So like
I'm
the
looking for
description of a
links, but
YouTube
that's it.
I mean, yeah, basically it's links. That's it. But like the whole idea of the description is to SEO your video into like reality in the algorithm. So it has like YouTube doesn't really know what your video is about, but it knows what the description is about, and it knows what the tags are about, and it kind of deciphers that. And then whoever watches it, they can deduce who that person is and what kinds of videos that person watches, and then they kind of come together with like what this video must be about, sort of thing. So I've used ChatGPT to like basically generate every single description that I use, but I've learned now that because I've done that, ChatGPT has learned a ton about my channel and like the things that I've covered. So there have been days where I've been like, shit, what am I going to do today? Like, what's my video for today? And I'll just like, ChatGPT, give me like 10 ideas. All 10 of them are atrocious. But one of those is like, oh, but it like unlocks this layer in my brain to go like, no, but I can go here with it. So like I use ChatGPT as like a very low budget employee where you're just like, this person sucks, but they sweep the floors sometimes. And like, I'm super down with it. So I don't know. I've actually found ChatGPT to be super helpful with kind of like unlocking ideas based on the fact that it sort of has a general idea of like what Gears and Gadgets is sort of about, which is pretty interesting.
I did play with it a little bit on for thumbnails, but I guess my prompt skills aren't good enough because everything that came out was horrible, and I was like,
they're all so identifiable as created by ChatGPT that you really can't use them, I don't think. Thumbnails to me, it's like the cover of the book, you know, like if you walk through Barnes and Noble and like they spend a ton of time on what the cover is because that cover needs to bring you in. Yeah. And that's what a YouTube video is. And everybody, if they can identify that thumbnail was created by AI, they're going to be exactly scared of what you talked about, which is that whole like AI slop all over, you know, people. I have this like general theory. Everybody's so afraid of AI and afraid of like these AI slop, and like it's getting really good. Some of these AI slop videos are actually really, really good, but it's still super identifiable. And if you're paying attention to it and you hate it enough, you can identify it from a mile away. So it's no different because for the last 15 years, there's been videos on YouTube where if you Google, if you look up like some obscure thing you want to buy, nobody ever did a YouTube video on it because like it's not big enough, but there's one video and it's a slideshow of the press images of the thing. And there's somebody just talking over it and it's just bullshit. That's what this AI slop is it's just like easily identifiable by normal humans as nonsense. And I think that we're going to start seeing people like clamoring towards like our content of actual real people saying real things, doing real things. And I think the AI slop is going to kind of take care of itself. I think the algorithm will weed it out as not getting the engagement that the videos that we would produce will, because it's missing a human element. And I don't think AI will ever reproduce a full human element that we can by our imperfect shittiness that we have in every one of our videos, you know?
Yeah. It's the imperfect that makes us fun.
Yeah.
And I want to say I'm not against using AI. I didn't want to like sort of pitch it that way. It's just not.
That's exactly.
I felt you taking shots at me. I felt it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you say that. Actually, I do read, like, if it's a video about a thing that I care about, you know, if it's just like, I mean, I follow or I subscribe to plenty of people that I'm just watching their video to give them some minutes, you know, and I'm doing other stuff in the background. But if it's a video with like stuff I care about, I do read the description. You know, I'll be like, oh, who are the guests? Like, who was in this, you know, stream that they did or whatever, you know, and see and go check out their stuff. I may be weird.
Okay, if it's guests, maybe. But if you're reading descriptions on a video that you're watching about like, I don't know, anything.
I watch a lot of like camping. You know, it's like I said, the last line of defense. You know, people talking about camping gear, talking about trucks, talking about motorcycles, talking about whatever. A lot of times I'll go to the description because, you know, I do it in any video I do where I'm like, I link like the tools that I used or I link the parts or whatever, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's fairly unique to us being YouTube nerds and kind of like in a certain hobby or whatever for sure. I'm not like Googling a random thing from Amazon, clicking on a video and reading the description, or whatever.
Well, I don't know if you're noticing the same trends that I do, if you even pay attention in like analytics, but there's also like way more viewers watching on TV now than there were 2-3 years ago. And there's nobody like scrolling over on their Apple TV app, like to go and read a description of a video. As a matter of fact, a lot of the links are getting lost in that also. So it's like, if someone watches a video to an affiliate link that you have on their Apple TV, they've got to like it so much to then also go to their phone, open it up, and scroll through and find those same links. So it's like an extra, they say call to action. Like, you really got to call to action to get them to pull out a separate device to go and look for what it is you're trying to link to.
My LG, you can scroll up and go to the links, and then it'll send the link to my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm probably kind of a exception, definitely not a rule on that front. 'Cause, I mean, I do everything on my desktop computer, at my desk, watch all the videos, do all the things. So, like, I hate trying to edit. I hate using Instagram, trying to upload stories and stuff, because I hate using my phone for, like, any of that stuff. You have to. But, like, normally I'm just like, I need to do it on my 30-inch screen in front of me, and that's this long and short. Like, when I hear people that, edit all their videos on their phone. They film it on their phone, they edit it on their phone, and they put it out. I'm like, there's no way I would throw my phone in the lake if I tried to edit videos on this thing.
Yeah, you can, but it's not ideal. I don't care what, like, even editing on like iPads and stuff like that. It's like, man, you can do it, but you can also do a lot of things that you shouldn't do. And I think that is one of them.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, there's like a fist-sized spider climbing above me on the ceiling, and I'm like, now I'm interested.
The first year my channel was all edited on an old iPad,
and that's fine. That's fine, because it takes, like I said, it takes a while to even like get the idea of how to edit down and stuff. But there's no comparison to editing on a computer and like being able to go through like a stacked up timeline and like, I don't know. I kind of want to see that spider drop now.
Yeah, right.
Don't say that.
Get him, spider.
You'll see me kick this chair over backwards, fall, scream like a little girl, and run away.
I will cash app you $10 if that spider falls on you and you freak out.
He's walking away.
Come on back, spider. Now, guilty pleasure. I tell you what, I cannot get enough of the AI Bigfoot stuff.
I've seen some of that. Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, it is so fun. It's well done AI stuff, and it's like a bro camping, but he's a AI Bigfoot and talking much trash about everything. There's like 7 or 8 different channels doing it. But
Dan, you saying that about AI, about how you don't think it will sort of bridge that human gap. I'm really curious, just because we've seen it come so far in the past year and a half or something. I saw a video, a 100% AI generated video of, it was like these people at like a car show, like a vehicle, like new model kind of show, on like a showroom floor with like, here's the 2027 models, like whatever kind of thing. And there is definitely still that uncanny valley of like, these people aren't quite right, but it's so much better than it was a year ago. It's like,
yeah, but think about like The Simpsons were hilarious when they came out. Nobody was like, "Oh my God, cartoons are taking over! Like we're going to lose everything." To it's just another medium, and I don't think that like there was a single human comedian who was like, "Oh my God, The Simpsons! Like no one's ever going to buy a ticket to come see my show ever again." Like I just think it's a medium that I've seen some. I might even be thinking about the same videos you're talking about. Like on TikTok, there's those car dealership videos, and like they're pretty darn good. But I can still identify it as not being real. Now, what I'm more scared of is like the grandparents' age who like just because they read something on Facebook, it's true.
Yeah. And
like those are the people that are going to be very easily manipulated by some of those videos. And like, but I think anybody who's under 50 years old, 45 maybe, I don't know, somewhere in that range under that, I think is going to be looking at every piece of content with a healthy dose of skepticism that I don't think it's really going to do a great job of fooling everybody. I don't know. Like I said, I think that the imperfect part of who we are as humans will be very hard to replicate with AI. and you're not going to have an AI meet and greet. There, like there's no.
Yeah.
You're not going to have an Adam Sandoval camp out with a bunch of chatbots.
No.
People are going to want to go and meet the actual person. So I don't think that ever gets fully replaced. I just don't. I'm not that scared about it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it'll fully replace. I do think you're giving the younger generations a little bit more credit, maybe. Because I know plenty of folks that they're just scrolling TikTok, and if it looks real enough, they're not going to question it. I think in a lot of cases, like I just saw one that was like. It was like a gorilla with a baby thing. It was an 100% AI generated video of a baby getting inside of a gorilla enclosure. The gorilla picking the baby up and handing it back to the mom. And, it was like shared all over Facebook. The boomers were like throwing it out there like, oh my gosh, can you believe this happened? It's like, bro, that's a gorilla in a chain link, like a 4-foot chain link fence enclosure. That's not real.
Yeah.
Think about how YouTube has evolved and every other social media platform in the last years. They've gotten so good at being able to identify if you swear in your video, being able to identify, some of the absolute horrific things that get put up on YouTube that they moderate every day, all day long, nonstop. There's going to become a point where the AI is also good enough to be able to identify, like we're going to upload a video and it's going to flag it as this is AI, and we're going to have to appeal that and be like, no, this is my video. Like that'll be the next step of like how these platforms try to moderate out this AI slop is, by us basically doing the same way that they do it with like the ads on videos. Like you upload a video, they flag it as inappropriate, and then you challenge it, they review it, and kind of go through that route. I think it'll be very much like that with some of the AI stuff. And I think that the channels that are getting complained about as being AI are going to be flagged more than channels like ours who aren't that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I wonder if YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or whoever, are they on board with we don't want the AI, or are they just like we don't want AI junk, but if it's high enough quality AI, then it's fair game. I don't know how that's going to shake out.
I think they would only want it if they were generating it, because if their ad revenue is splitting with an AI channel, I don't know. But I guess maybe they need to bring back the dislike button or whatever. And well, I guess it's not gone. It's still there. But
yeah, the numbers just hit now.
Yeah, I think the human element, unless AI starts viewing content in like, that would be an interesting world that we live in, where like AI slop is put out, and then AI slop also watches the video 7 trillion times to trick the algorithm into pushing it further. Like maybe there's an algorithm more.
Other platforms like Twitter and like tech platforms, right? There's bots everywhere liking and changing the view counts and everything on text-based stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have AI bots watching AI bot stuff to generate traffic and whatever.
YouTube is pretty good at that stuff from what I understand. Like I think they can like identify signatures of like too rapid of views and like things like that where they can identify. And I think YouTube's very cautious of that stuff happening. But there's still people that do it. There's giant channels out there who have like 10 million subscribers, and they post a new video, it gets 2,000 views. It's like, okay, obviously there's something is amiss with those numbers. Like, what are you doing, you knucklehead? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation for sure.
Yeah, I never understood buying viewers. Maybe my ego's not big enough, but buying viewers or buying likes, it's like, I mean, if you're just trying to do it for the hustle, I mean, I understand, but if you're trying to be a creator and trying to create something, that seems counterintuitive. It seems like you're working against yourself.
I think I'm very anti buying any of that stuff on YouTube, because I think YouTube is a platform for authenticity.
Yeah.
But I do think, there was that electric bike company I did a video about, Eohora, that reached out to me about getting me a bike. And then they came out with this like stupid, after we signed the contract, they were like, oh, if your video doesn't get 50,000 views within the first 3 months, we want you to pay us $1,200 or something. It was something ridiculous. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. Now, the dumb thing is, like, I could have just went and bought 50,000 dummy views and like satisfied that contractual obligation with like $50 or whatever. I don't know, who knows what it costs, but it's like such a dumb manipulated thing. So that made me think about like TikTok. That's a platform where if you're an influencer on TikTok, just buy 7 million fake followers and nobody pays attention to like actual interaction on TikTok. Like all these people are just getting these brand deals. And it's like, what is the real actual measurable interaction that's happening on, I don't know, maybe I'm just a boomer and don't understand TikTok, but I just think those are the platforms where you're manipulating your way. The only value as a creator on TikTok, because there's zero money in the views. Like people, they can get 10 million views on TikTok and make like $45. If you got that on YouTube, you'd make $45,000. So I think like there's a value in keeping it authentic on YouTube because like you're getting paid to do that. Spider. It's an AI spider.
Shit, I didn't look up for long enough. I don't know where it is now.
But I think on TikTok, where you're actually not making any money on your views at all, game the system as much as possible because like all you're doing is trying to get Dunkin' Donuts to give you $1 million to say you drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Like that is the only monetized value of having a huge TikTok following, in my opinion.
Everybody that I follow that
asked Sarah if she wanted to say hi, and she was like, "Nope, later."
Now I'm offended. She didn't say hi.
Right?
Everybody that I follow that started out on TikTok and has moved over to YouTube even or Instagram. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Can't have Jay offended.
Has quit TikTok once they moved their following from TikTok to Instagram or YouTube or both. Have just done away with TikTok. It's like it was nice to jump out there and it kind of blew up and I got a following, and then as soon as I started doing these other two or one or the other two, then I just let TikTok go because it's not worth my time.
So do you use TikTok, Jay? Like in just as a watcher or whatever?
No, it's not downloaded on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I've never used it. I catch Sarah watching it, and I don't know. I'm trying to preserve my attention span as much as possible, and I just even shorts and stuff. I like creating shorts because it's quick and easy and gets a lot of views. But like I don't sit and doom scroll shorts or reels or anything.
Brother, doom scrolling is ruining my life. Let me like where did that hour and a half go? Let me just put this down and like go touch grass or something, man. I get looped into it too quick.
Yeah, the only reason I have TikTok is that I'm lying, but a reason why my older brother works for TikTok. He's actually kind of like he got in super early. My older brother lived in China for like 12 years, and he got into TikTok, not super early, but like 3 or 4 years ago probably. So that's pretty early. Yeah. Like COVID time, as TikTok was exploding, he got in. So I think I downloaded it around then because I'm like, oh, I'm a creator, so I need to pay attention. I hate shorts. I hate shorts with a passion. But I have started trying to use them as like a funnel to the long form content.
Yeah.
It's just I only have so much time in the day, and if I need to focus on anything, it's going to be my long form.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to do one every day. Sorry, we walked on each other. Chase, go ahead.
I said, yeah, it is just way easier to throw out a 30-second short, especially if you just made a little, like I was talking about at events, sometimes you just have all these chopped up clips and you don't have anywhere to put it, but it could be a 30-second short, and it takes 10 minutes to edit and throw it up there and be good.
Yeah, or like when I almost got arrested on my Press Indian motorcycle, which that short did like a stupid amount of views almost instantaneously. It's like I happened to have my GoPro recording when I got pulled over and was threatened to go to, get arrested to go to jail. And it was like, as the cop was talking, I'm thinking like, this is going viral. I was like, but I wasn't like goading him into anything. It was just, he was being a complete prick. And I was trying to like walk the tightrope of like talk myself out of trouble to not get arrested, but also like let this guy keep like giving me YouTube gold. And it kind of worked out. But like those are videos where like after the interaction's over and I'm like, there's a short.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
so Jay's very shortable. That's what I like about hanging out with Jay. Is I always get like 8 shorts out of Jay. Where's the pole? Do we need to throw out the pole short?
Yeah, right. Well, gentlemen, Mr. Dan, it has been a pleasure talking to you. I do have to go pick my son up from work, and it is. Thank you for coming on here. And Chase, anything on the way out the door here?
No. I mean, Dan, really nice to meet you.
Same.
I will watch. This is my theme now. Is when Jay brings on a guest that I don't really know, I then go like watch their videos after we chat. So I'll go hit your algorithm there. But yeah, no, it's been great chatting.
I appreciate that. I got to go eat myself some dinner and finish my video. I need to film the ending of my video and edit for today still. So I got some work ahead of me for the afternoon.
Well, hopefully your journey to 100K is only days away.
I hope so. All right, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all be safe out there. Take care of one another because won't nobody else.
Thanks, guys.